Chapter 1. The Unexpected Discovery. It all began during a session with a famous actress. Julie, she was posing for a magazine cover, and Maxim, focused, was looking at his camera with a calm and thoughtful expression. Everything seemed to be going normally. Julie was smiling, elegant, and full of life, her face illuminated by the spotlights. Yet, when he took a first glance at the shots, something troubled him. The photos showed a different Julie. Her radiant smile had disappeared, replaced by an almost serious, reflective expression. Maxim, surprised, checked the camera settings, thinking of a technical error. But no, everything was in order. The transitions from one emotion to another, from a smile to intense gravity, had happened too quickly, almost stranger still, he realized that Julia's expression in the photos seemed to reflect precisely his own state of mind at that exact moment. Calm and introspective. Puzzled, Maxim looked at Julie again. She was adjusting her makeup. Her smile had returned, light and carefree, as if she had never gone through that phase of introspection. Nothing in her behavior betrayed the change he had captured in the images. Was it just a simple coincidence? Maxim wasn't certain, but he couldn't help thinking about this strange phenomenon. The following days, the idea haunted him. To calm his doubts, Maxim decided to conduct more precise tests during his next sessions. With each new shot, he voluntarily modified his own state of mind. Sometimes smiling, sometimes serious, he observed how his models reacted, and each time he found on their faces a perfect reflection of his own emotions. Whether they were happy, sad, or indifferent just moments before, his subjects now seemed to reproduce. Unknowingly, Maxim's inner expression at the moment he triggered the shutter. One day, while photographing a young street artist, Maxim suddenly changed his expression by thinking of a sad memory. The artist's smile disappeared instantly, replaced by deep melancholy. This phenomenon confirmed itself again and again, reinforcing the idea that something greater was at work. Maxim, puzzled by this discovery, began to explore more mystical paths. He consulted an old book on spiritual connections and energy transfers. The yellowed pages spoke of invisible links between souls, emotional resonance, and the ability of certain individuals to subtly influence those around them. Although skeptical, Maxim couldn't help but find troubling parallels with his own experiences. He also contacted Sophie, his longtime assistant, to talk to her about his discoveries. She listened to him attentively, but remained perplexed. However, her unconditional support helped Maxim keep his feet on the ground. Together, they decided to document his observations more rigorously, noting every detail of his sessions, his subjects, reactions, and his own states of mind. Maxim began noting his observations in a notebook. He consulted psychology experts, fellow photographers, and even specialists in paranormal phenomena, but no explanation seemed to satisfy his quest for truth. The answers he obtained only deepened his feeling of confusion. Each expert brought a different theory, ranging from scientific suggestions about subliminal influence to more esoteric hypotheses involving invisible forces. The more he explored this new reality, the more he felt disconnected from his own art. The boundary between his emotions and those of his models became blurred, as if his lens captured more than simple images, but fragments of his soul. This phenomenon became an obsession, invading his thoughts and dreams until he could no longer ignore his need to understand. One evening, after a particularly exhausting day, he sat alone in his studio. The dimmed lights cast moving shadows on the walls, and the silence was only interrupted by the incessant ticking of the clock. Maxim contemplated the portraits hanging around him, each carrying a fragment of himself. He realized that this quest might well redefine his entire perception of art and reality.